Hello and welcome to my stock tutorials with Shane. In this video, we will be covering stock locations, the three types of stock locations that we have, and what each of these locations can do. So to start off, when you are creating your My Stock for your merchant, you'll be working on your tall order back office. You will have a stock location that will be linked to a selling location. And then when signing into My Stock for the first time and every other time after that, you will be signing into that stock location that is linked to that selling location. It is the default location that you sign into. Another note to take note of is that that location that is linked to that selling location, when you're doing a sale, that stock location is where the stock levels and costs, etc., get deducted and adjusted from. So let's take a look at stock locations. When you go to your settings in My Stock, you go to stock locations and you will be brought to the stock locations page. This shows all of your stock locations that you have. It shows the names, the email addresses, whether they hold stock or not, the type of location that it is, and whether they are active or not. The great thing about My Stock is that there is no limit to how many stock locations one can have. You can have as many as you choose. When you want to create a new stock location, you simply come to the top right and you click New Stock Location. Here you will fill out all the information that is relevant to that location and the type of location that it is. On the top left here, you have your location type. Here you can see we have three different types of locations. We've got the most commonly used stock location, the admin location, and a cost center location. So let's take a look at what each of these are. A normal stock location is a location that generally holds stock, and it can do a bunch of features and different actions. It can do the stock orders, so purchase orders, it can do requisitions, transfers, stock issues, wastage, and returning of stock back to the suppliers. It can also receive stock, it can take stock takes, it can do stock production, as well as doing month-end processing. So the stock location option is by far the most common and preferred location type to use, as it has all the features that My Stock can offer. So let's take a look at the other two types of locations. You've got admin location and a cost center location. Let's take a look at an admin location. An admin location is a location that doesn't hold any stock, but it can place a purchase order on behalf of other locations and then holds and releases those shipments for the ordering locations. So what do I mean by that? You can have a normal stock location that may place a requisition on an admin location. And what that does is that admin location creates a purchase order from a pending purchase order list, or otherwise known as a PPO list. So what is a admin location not able to do? It is not able to do any purchase orders other than from the pending purchase order list that I just explained. It cannot do any stock transfers, wastage, or any supplier return stock actions. It can also not do any stock takes or any month end, nor can it do stock production. It is also unable to edit the PPO order item quantity, as they can only order back to back. Admin locations are typically used by the likes of lodges, where they order in a city, they accept it and hold the order without actually ever receiving the stock, and then releasing the order to go out to the lodge when there is a next delivery out to the lodge. Once released, the orders can then be received by the store that originally ordered the stock. These such requisitions are also known as purchase requisitions, as they will always result in a purchase order as the admin location doesn't have stock. So let's have a quick look at what an admin location looks like. You will see on the left side here that the menu is slightly different. You'll see that I do not have the stock orders for transfers, etc. I have purchase orders where you can place, etc. Your purchase order from a pending purchase order list. You can accept orders and you can release orders. On the dashboard of the admin location, you'll see that there are purchase requisitions. You can see the awaiting approval status, the awaiting acceptance, and awaiting the release. You can also see and filter via the different locations that it relates to, as well as your date and time range. And finally, let's take a look at the cost center. So a cost center is also a location that does not hold stock. You can request stock from a cost center, very much like a normal location would do to an admin location. It would then auto receive the stock and immediately issue the stock out, so that the stock is then expensed against the cost center. Because the cost center does not hold any stock, it will not be able to do the following. It will not be able to do any purchase orders, any stock transfers, any waste, or supplier return stock actions. It also does not do any stock takes, nor does it do any month-end process. If you have a look here on the cost center page, on the menu, you'll see that there are a lot less things on the menu, same as the admin. You can see that purchase orders is grayed out. There is an option for the cost centers to be able to do purchase orders, but you will need to change that in your settings. If you go to your stock location settings and you select the cost center location, there is a toggle here to allow cost centers to place purchase orders, but it is defaulted to not allow it. You can see here that there are requisitions where you can place stock requisitions. You can look at completed issues, and you can look at completed and awaiting received stock. Examples for cost centers would be something like office stationery, where the stock gets immediately issued and expensed out. It is never sold. So let's take a quick look at the stock location settings here. If I want to add a new location, I simply choose which location I want to use. You have the option to allow the location to be deactivated. When you select deactivated, it will no longer show on your system. It will show in the stock locations over here, but it will be deactivated. So on the right hand side here, you will have the active column. It will not have a tick. You can choose to accept tax invoices without a tax reference number. You can choose to have it allowed to hold stock or not to hold stock. When it doesn't hold stock, there are certain things that are grayed out. When you select it, you can choose for the stock location to have its initial stock take completed. You have the option to select a default location for any requisitions. So what that means is that when I select, say, for example, this location, that means that that will be the default location that I place requisitions on. You can choose for purchase orders to show only items available from the selected supplier, or allow item unit prices from the supplier to be updated when receiving goods. And you can also select to receive stock automatically on stock transfers. So if you select that, that means that any transfer that's placed on this location, it automatically receives it. You can give the general information of the location name and give it an address. And finally, on stock locations, if you navigate to the top right where the globe is, if you select that button, It brings up your select required stock location where you can bounce between your all locations and your recent locations. If you select either one of them, it'll take you to that location. An important thing to note is that when you are doing any of your stock orders or any actions, you need to make sure that you are on the correct location, because sometimes you can get mistaken between different locations and you can go about your business by doing any stock orders, such, and you can forget which location you are in. So always make sure that you are in the correct location before continuing to do any of your actions. And that is stock locations.